When you're in a very labour-intensive job, where it's not a very mentally taxing job, you get a lot of time to backbrain, a lot of time to think, and you get a lot of time to dwell on bad decisions that you might have made. And you get home, your kids want to play with you, and you don't want to know about them. Your wife wants to talk to you, you don't want to know about her either. And you can see why it destroys marriages. You know, we all go through life so busy now that we forget to stop and just smell the roses. And if you can just take that bit of time out to actually ask someone how they are and wait for the response and care about the response and give them your actual time and care if something's not right. And look, if someone's smoking 20 cigarettes and they're like this and they tell you they're fine, well, they're not. Take the time to find out what it is. Take the time to make that extra question happen and go, are you okay? Are you stressed? You know, so that stuff matters. Having been there myself, you feel very removed, and it's almost like there's this real fuzzy feeling about life and you can't see a pathway forward. So, it's that, you see that emotional disconnect, and it's a very clear sign that someone's going through stuff. And when you're struggling and people are going through hard times, they often won't reach out for help. You've got to reach in, and you're more likely to find that in a mate, and you're more likely to realise that your mate's changing before anyone else does. There's other signs you have to look for which are smaller, but they're not always clear. So you just got to be brave enough to go up and ask. That's one thing that mates really push for, is go and talk to them. Take that extra step, make that extra question happen. Say, are you okay? You're so in the middle of a problem, you cannot find a way out of it. And because you're so flat tack working all the time, you don't get anything else to do but think and think and think. And all you do is think about bad stuff that you've done and wrong decisions and poor things that have happened and choices that could have been better. And it makes you go lower. My birthday was an interesting morning. I got up early that morning because it had been a year or so when I'd been stuck on the site, and my life had gone from the top of the world to the bottom of the planet in sort of one hit. And I couldn't see a way out of there, and it took me to a very dark place. To look at my kids and not know whether I'd come back, I couldn't make that decision on that morning. I was in that unknown section of my life where I didn't realise what I was going to do. I hadn't made that decision yet. But I also knew that, having been through so many suicides myself, that if I didn't fight for my kids, they were going to go through the same stuff that I went through, and I didn't want that for them. I went into work late, only about half an hour late, and as I walked down onto the site and I got all my protective gear on, one of my colleagues and a good mate walked past me, and 5 minutes later was lying next to me, having taken his own life. It was an incredibly devastating day for not just me, but for every other worker around that place, and there was a lot of guys witnessed this. And so when the police came after I finished interviewing and speaking with the police, all the workers got corralled up into this large holding area, and they were left there while the heads of the company were trying to drag in counsellors and workers and psychiatrists, psychologists, anyone that could help, because it was such a devastating thing that had happened. And then when I looked at all these guys sitting there just staring at nothing with absolutely no idea how to deal with this, I got up and I decided I just needed to say something. I've been through a lot of suicides in my life, a lot. And it was an important moment. I just stood up and I said, okay guys, this is how it happens. This is how quickly it can happen. This is how fast you can descend into this abyss of darkness where you can't find a way out. And they didn't realise where I was personally myself. I was so close, it was amazing. And so I told them this, and I said, if anybody else is feeling the same way, come and see me and I'll take you to help myself. And when I finished, 6 guys stayed behind and said they were thinking of taking their lives. And that was a real awakening moment to me, that I had another purpose again, to go from where I was in the film industry to becoming almost nothing, just a labourer on a site. And the company treated me well, but I saw what was out there. I saw how people were treated, and I saw how bad it was, and I realised what needed to be done. And so I made it my quest, to move forward and to help change people's lives, and that's what we did. So yeah, it was a huge moment for me in bringing me back from the edge personally, but also in helping other people. And and I feel on that day we lost 1 life, but we actually saved 7. We saved those 6 fellas and myself. So it was a devastating and awakening day all in the one. And in some ways, probably one of the most amazing birthdays I've ever had for so many different reasons, because it gave me back life, you know, and I just wished I'd known more about it in time to save a friend. Is that 10 minutes later, I was speaking to a whole ton of workers about suicide prevention and how this can happen so fast, how the events of life can hit you time and time again, like fighting Tyson, and you don't feel like you've got any hits left and you just fall down. And it's not that anyone ever wants to die, you just can't see the reason to live. And so you lose hope. We try and move forward from here and try and teach and help and educate people, so we're not afraid to say how we feel. And so we've got help around us, and we feel we're in a safe environment where we can speak. So that was what happened to me on my birthday, yeah.